Good evening and Happy New Year. This is Making the Case. I'm Yodit Tewolde. As 2022 begins, history is already being made as a number of African Americans were sworn in, officially taking on roles of some of the most important positions in America's largest city. New York City now has its second ever black mayor and first black woman police commissioner, and Manhattan has its first black district attorney, joining the ranks of several other black leaders who were elected or appointed in recent months. BNC's Drake Clark is in New York with more on this historic new era.
We're going to fix the problems of the city. It's not about showmanship. It's about showing up. That is why the theme of my first 100 days is GSD, get stuff done.
New York City's new black mayor, Eric Adams, is off to a flashy start. After taking the oath of office in Times Square and producing this video, promising change and better days ahead, Adams will now lead the city he's loved for a lifetime.
But we are a city of 9 million dreams, and we're about to wake up.
New York City is now America's most powerful and influential black city. Not only is the mayor black, Keechant Sewell is the NYPD's first black woman police commissioner. David Banks is the city's public schools chancellor, responsible for 1 million school children. And Alvin Bragg is Manhattan's first black district attorney. The Brooklyn and Bronx DA's offices are also led by black and brown people, all of them either elected or appointed, but collectively expected to help make the city better.
You will not bring violence to this city.
Crime is A1 on the mayor's agenda. In 2021, according to Mayor Adams, 1,800 people were shot in the city. That's a 104% increase when compared to 2020, according to the mayor.
It's the terror that's happening in Chicago, Atlanta, and New York, and the Bronx. All over this country, we're seeing terror that was ignored. But that process of ignorance stops.
Adams, a former police officer, says he plans to bring back the police department's plainclothes anti-gun unit. But critics say that unit was disbanded because of heavy-handed policing in black and brown communities. Adams says not this time because of one thing: cameras.
We didn't have body cameras when Amadou Diallo was shot and killed. We didn't have body cameras when Zongo was shot and killed. We didn't have body cameras when Sean Bell was shot and killed. We have new technology.
My focus and intentions are clear. Seize the guns, stop the violence, stop the shooting, and save lives.
The mayor and police commissioner's community-first approach is a big hit in Harlem, the city's mecca of black history.
We got our mayor back. We have NYPD back.
And on the issue of COVID, Adams says his mindset is facts over fear. He believes kids are safer in school, and he knows the city needs more testing sites to end long wait times. 91% of adults in the city have received at least one vaccine dose. But Adams wants more adults and children fully vaccinated.
We have to get this variant under control, and we must get it under control. But my real fear that keeps me up at night is to have one that is as lethal as some of the earlier versions of it.
In New York, I'm Drake Clark for Making the Case.
Here to discuss what this new black leadership could mean in a state where the prison infrastructure is one of the largest in the country is one of New York's own, Bernarda Villalona, a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. Also with us, veteran prosecutor and BNC's legal contributor, Paul Henderson. Glad to have you both on in the new year. Let's start by getting your take on this new wave of black leadership in New York. Paul, to you first.
Okay, so I cheered for this. I am so excited about the collective Black wisdom and approaches in leadership in New York. And I do think that it is a new approach to some of the intransigent problems, because there's not a singular solution to some of these problems that we have, not just in New York, but throughout this country. But for the first time, we're going to have collective energy focused on some of our most intransigent problems, specifically with the criminal justice system and with public safety. And one of the things we haven't even talked about, which is part of this analysis, is the U.S. attorney in that district as well, also Black. And so this is a big approach. There's a new opportunity across a broad range of very specific subjects that I think we're about to talk about. But I think it's a real turning point and an opportunity for us to try and see what leadership looks like literally with Black representation in these powerful positions to address some of our most difficult problems in society. That's what I'm excited about.
Bernarda, your take.
Looking at this wave, all I see is hope, change, and opportunity. Like, I actually feel that there's going to be some kind of change here in this city and New York City. Eric Adams, a son of New York City, born and bred, and all these stakeholders, even when you're talking about Alvin Bragg, who's also a son of New York City, you're talking about all these different people in these powerful positions that they are more than qualified to hold. Also to see, I emphasize on what Paul was saying in regards to the collaborative effort, because that is going to be the key to turning New York City around, from dealing with the mayor to the police commissioner to the Department of Corrections commissioner to the different district attorneys' offices, as well as the Southern District and the Eastern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office. And I think finally that change, that vision is going to be played out.
All right, guys, now to the new mayor, Eric Adams, who was a former NYPD captain. He says he's committed to improving community relations with police. Let's listen to something else he had to say over the weekend.
I was arrested as a teenager. I was beaten by police, and later today, I will go back to that same precinct house, and I will address the officers there as their mayor.
Paul, look, it's important that we have people assuming these roles look like their constituents, but more importantly, having a perspective that's informed by their lived experiences, right?
I think that makes a big difference. I, too, have had some negative police encounters, and it's not a mistake that I work in a position doing oversight with those same agencies now. And so to hear that from the leadership at the top, from the mayor, really gives me a sense that he truly understands about how he needs to address race disparities in policing and race disparities in his leadership. That's really important. And he's talked about specifically, one of his first agendas is looking at crime, and not just from the perspective of we're just going to arrest more people. You can't arrest your way out of issues complicated like crimes without unpacking reform and trying to address a bigger picture and working collaboratively with your partners in defining public safety. And that means coordinating with the district attorney's office, who is Black. That means coordinating with your chief of police with direct input and conversation, who is Black woman. And that means coordinating with your U.S. attorney for your federal issues, who is also Black. And that's why I think that this is a real opportunity to try and address some of the real and very specific issues that are going on in New York that, again, mirror many of the problems that we have in many of the cities throughout this country. And some of the things that we can look at when we want to start unpacking some of the specifics of what's going on in New York. And I did a little bit of research on the diversity and the disparity reports from the Center of Innovation through data. I put it in my Twitter. But it's a fascinating report unpacking what the race disparities are in New York specifically, going through some of the issues of economic security, health and well-being. That includes all of the COVID disparities, the youth justice issues, how those numbers have, even though they're shrunk, they're still with African Americans 7 times for felony arrest. These are the issues that have to be addressed that I'm excited about, with the mayor's leadership at the helm, coordinating a collaborative effort to lead to change in New York City. That's what I'm excited about.
All right. Well, speaking, Paul, of the new police commissioner, Keechant Sewell, she's the first, of course, like you said, the first Black woman to hold this position. Here's some of what she had to say.
As the first woman and only the 3rd Black person to lead the NYPD in its 176-year history, I bring a different perspective, committed to make sure the department looks like the city it serves, and making the decision, just as Mayor-elect Adams did, to elevate women and people of color.
Bernarda, according to the Brennan Center, there are more than 40,000 New Yorkers behind bars and another 337,000 who have spent time in prison at some point in their lives, and 3/4 of them are people of color. Again, how important is it to have this woman now taking this position, black woman, as police commissioner?
This is huge for New York City to have this black woman as the first African American female police commissioner. Because as you know, look, there has to be some kind of collaborative effort in the sense that she is going to take the lead and she know what the city actually needs to be able to fix this city, and for her to set the tone very early. She won't be able to do it by herself, but being that Eric Adams is holding the lead in the sense of telling everyone that you're going to be working with each other, also taking into account you're going to be working with the district attorney's office, because it makes no sense. You can make arrests, but if the district attorney's office is not willing to do the prosecution, then what are you doing? What are you fixing? What problems are you helping or alleviating? Same in the sense of with the Department of Corrections commissioner in terms of Luis Molina, who's been appointed. Look, you can arrest people and eventually judges will set bail, maybe not set bail, but we're expecting them to go into Rikers Island. We need the commissioner that's going to be able to create a sense of a humane conditions, safe conditions for both those who are arrested as well as those who work in the institutions. What's important about having people of color, qualified people of color in these positions is that we are all stakeholders and we know what it feels to be on the other side. We listen to what people say. We empathize with the community and we have a drive to get things done because all of this affects all of us.
Paul, your thoughts?
All right, so first of all, come through Black woman. I am excited for her leadership, and I'm really excited that she is specific and intentional about addressing both diversity and accountability. The diversity, I believe, is important because having more voices seated at the table defining public safety through law enforcement is part of what we need to reform law enforcement approaches. The secondary thing that she brought up is talking about accountability. I'm excited about an expansion of accountability through civilian oversight agencies that they already have in New York and expanding the role that they play in defining policy and defining accountability and reform for a large department like New York. And I'm excited about the model that it will serve for the rest of the country to define best practices, some of which that already exist, but have to be implemented. And they don't get implemented without the right leadership. And so the things that she's saying are very important to me. And I think that they will fit in nicely as a dovetail to the priorities that the mayor has defined, the district attorney has defined, and the U.S. Attorney's Office is defining ongoing.
All right, let's talk about other black leaders within New York City's criminal legal system. Alvin Bragg, who is Manhattan's first black district attorney. Bernarda, you've worked in a district attorney's office as a prosecutor in New York. What will you be looking for during DA Bragg's first few months on the job?
What I'm confident what DA Bragg is going to do is bring reform to that office. As people know, the New York County District Attorney's Office is one of the most conservative offices in New York City in terms of draconian plea offers that are made to our people, but also that they don't have much programs, alternative to incarceration programs. And I'm confident that DA Bragg would be able to bring these programs to the community to try to divert people from going into jail and from also committing other crimes.